So you let your players level up. Good. Now they're going to have stronger spells and abilities that they're going to be able to use on their turns in combat that you have to account for as a dungeon master. On Fridays, I'm going to be talking about spells that are going to be very useful in combat against your monsters as the dungeon master. If there's any particular spells that you'd like to see showcased, please let me know in the comments. Today, however, I will be talking about a 3rd level spell that is incredibly useful. And no, I am not talking about everyone's favorite fireball. Today I'm talking about Hypnotic Pattern. Hypnotic Pattern is an illusion spell that is available to bards, warlocks, sorcerers, and wizards in the 2024 rule set of Dungeons & Dragons. What does this spell do? Well, this spell in a 120-foot range sets up a 30-foot cube of flashing lights. Creatures caught in that cube will have to make a wisdom saving throw or be charmed for the duration. What does that charm do? Well, that charm sets their speed to 0 and gives them the incapacitated condition for 1 minute. Now, there are ways around this. If they lose concentration, the spell ends. If the creature is shaken, they are woken up. If the creature takes damage, they are woken up. Now, what's a scenario that this usually happens with? A whole group of enemies gets charmed by this, they're all standing there staring at the pretty lights, and then one by one your party just picks them off before they can move. How do we prevent this? Well, it is a wisdom save, which some monsters have high wisdom, some don't, but you can't always rely on that, and you don't always want to be just stacking up hugely with wise monsters. You gotta have variety. Another way around it is spacing. If you keep your monsters more spread apart so that they all aren't in the 30-foot cube, you can avoid them all getting hit by Hypnotic Pattern. What's another way around this? Well, have your monsters be smart enough to shake each other awake. Or have them use their attacks so they can do more than one per turn, but they have to deal damage to their own people, but then you'll get your monsters back. That is a thing that a lot of people are hesitant to do, but don't be afraid to take damage to make the encounter more useful. Now, obviously you can't always do this, and you're only going to want to do that within creatures that it makes sense to do that, once they have a little bit of intelligence, once they have a little bit of know-how. But if they do, it makes for a very dynamic encounter when your players charm an entire box full of creatures. I'm Adapt. Follow me for more tips and tricks on Dungeons & Dragons.